Hi everybody, I am Huskylight and welcome to my channel. Thanks for coming along. I wanted to go through the 7 universal laws. I'm going to do one video for each one because I want to try and go into a little bit of depth with each one and explain to them in a way that you can actually put them into practice. The 7 universal laws are what happens when you are manifesting. It is when you have mastered those, the 7 universal laws, when you understand them, when you know how to put them into practice, that is when you are manifesting. And this is the principle that we work from when we're co-creating. So it's a little bit, some of it you might have already heard. For instance, I'm going to go through the first one now, which is the law of mentalism, which is basically your crown chakra and being connected to everything above us. So anyway, some of this I might have to go through quite slowly because I've had to write a lot of notes down to go through them, so I'm going off notes as well. So hopefully you're going to enjoy this series and the amount of work I'm going to put into it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. You will. You'll love it. Okay, so 7 universal laws. We're starting off with what that is as a whole. It's everything by which the universe is governed. It is the laws of the universe, and because we are part of the universe, we are also governed by these laws. We also go by these laws. Now, to go by these laws, we don't have to be spiritual, we don't have to be religious. We can be a complete atheist if we wanted to be. These laws apply to whoever we are, whatever colour we are, whatever creed we are, whatever country we live in. They are part of us because we are part of the universe. Because we are spiritual or awakened or awakening, or however you want to call it, a lot of us have become aware of these laws and are starting to learn about them and use them in our everyday lives. And once we've mastered them, we can pretty much create anything we want. Sounds really easy, doesn't it? It takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of thought control. You have to control your thoughts 100% of the time, which is very difficult. So on the one hand, it's really, really easy, and on the other hand, it's really complex all at the same time. It's practice, and the more you practice, the easier it gets. The easier it gets, the more exciting it gets, the more fun it gets. The more you can create, the more you can co-create, the more you can bring into reality the things that you want to bring into reality, and the more you can see the world around you change, because your immediate reality started with you thinking about it. That's all it was. So let's go back to the beginning for a minute. As a whole, the 7 universal laws, they exist in perfect harmony. There is ancient, esoteric, secret teachings going back probably around 5,000 years, from ancient Egypt to ancient Greece to Vedic, Indian, ancient India. They all have this common thread of the 7 spiritual laws. Now, it used to be that we couldn't prove the laws. It used to be they were just spiritual, they were esoteric. Science can now actually prove these laws and put them into practice. They're starting to be able to know that everything has energy, and they can actually prove that now in science. So it is a provable thing now, whereas obviously years ago it wasn't, and we couldn't. It was all theory and teachings. Now they're starting to know in science that it's fact. So that's a really good thing as we develop. So, there are immutable and mutable signs of the 7 universal laws. The first 3 that I go through, or the first 3 of these laws, are immutable. They're eternal laws. This means that they have existed, they have always existed, they always will exist, and they are not changeable. They are complete absolute laws of the universe. They can never be changed, they can never be transcended. They've always existed, they always will exist. The other 4 laws that are in existence are mutable laws, which means that they can be better used as we learn them. They can be transcended to a certain extent. We still have to go by the basic rules of them, but they are more bendable, more changeable, and we can bend them more into our advantage. Okay, so there's mutable ones and immutable. Okay, so the first law, which I'm going to go through with you, is immutable, which means it cannot change, and it's the law of mentalism. Now, the law of mentalism states that everything is in the mind. Everything starts with a thought. If you do not have that thought, it doesn't exist. The telephone did not exist until Alexander Graham Bell had the thought to invent the telephone. Before that thought, it wasn't there. Whoever invented the plane, whoever invented all sorts of things, electricity, cars, aeroplanes, washing machines, before they had that initial thought and worked and actually took action on that thought and brought it through to fruition, then it did not exist before then. So everything starts with a thought. Everything starts in the mind. We are part of the universal consciousness. We are part of the collective consciousness. All our minds are one. We are all connected. We are all one within the universe. Whether you know that or believe that, it doesn't matter. That is just the way it is. That is fact. That is an immutable law of the universe. So again, you don't have to be spiritualist. You don't have to believe. You can be a complete atheist. That law still applies to you. So whether you know it or not, we are all part of the collective consciousness. All energy and matter at all levels is created by the universal mind. And because we are part of the universe of the collective consciousness, we are all exactly the same, just by varying 1 degree, 2 degrees. That's it. That's all there is between us. The only difference is the extent of our thoughts, but all our thoughts go up to the same place. So your reality is a manifestation of your mind, of what you have thought. Your immediate reality around you, the way you interact with other people, what you see around you, is all a manifestation of your thoughts, your direct thoughts. And I've spoken before about what happens with the universal, the collective consciousness. We have our thoughts, they go up to the collective consciousness, and they are reflected back down to us again, and then come into reality. So from the moment we are born, we start to think, we start to learn, and as we go through our life, this is what happens, and this is what our reality creates. Even the richest people in the world and pop stars and everything else, they don't have to believe in all of this. They already are following it. They are already governed by it, and this is already law. So there it is. This is what true mind power is all about. So if I break it down as easily as I can do for you, so that to give you a better idea of what and how to apply it, how we want to apply this. So this is how it works. This can be looked at in 2 different ways. We have conscious thoughts and we have subconscious thoughts. Conscious thoughts are thoughts and ideas that we are aware of and that we create rationally and intentionally. Okay? Subconscious thoughts are thoughts that we're not aware of at all, which are running through all day, for every moment that we are awake. And most of them seem automatic because they're already learned, they're already done. Most routine things that we do can be subconscious. For instance, if we're driving a car and we're driving from here to the shops or from here to your mum's, whatever, we drive almost subconsciously because you have already learnt how to drive. You already know the route that you are taking. You do not have to consciously think of how to change gears, how to put the brakes on, how to turn the ignition key on. These are things that you have already learned and they have gone into your subconscious. So when you're driving and you're driving in a familiar way, it is subconscious. Now when you first started to learn, you had to do it consciously. You had to deliberately think of how to change that gear, where your foot went to put it on the accelerator or to put it on the brake, where the keys went to start and how to start the ignition. They were conscious thoughts. But once you had learned how to drive that car, they became subconscious. Okay? Another example of that is walking. When we first learned to walk, we had to consciously think of how to walk. And then we became so used to it, we became so natural at doing it, we don't actually have to think of how we walk. It has become an automatic thing for us. It doesn't take much thought or effort to do any of these things. So they become our subconscious thoughts. We do them automatically. When we do anything new for the first time, when we do anything unfamiliar, then obviously we have to learn it, and we have to intentionally and be aware of thinking about it, and that is our conscious thoughts. We put a lot more effort into it. That is what we're doing now. This is what I'm doing now because this is the first time I've done a talk on this. So I've had to write notes on it, and I am very consciously aware of what I am saying. Okay, and if I seem to be squinting, it's because it's dark in here, but my computer screen in front of me is really bright. So I apologise if I look like I'm squinting a little bit, because I probably am. So without conscious thoughts, without subconscious thoughts, anything we do or make is not possible. We have to have those thoughts behind it to do it. The subconscious mind is a result of repetition. When we're driving the car, when we're walking, when we're doing things that we don't need to think of, it's because we have repeated that action so many times it becomes a subconscious act for us. So that is automatic, and the conscious mind is current, it's in the now, it's what we're aware of, and it goes hand in hand with our physical reality. So right now, me doing this talk is my physical reality. As you're watching this, you are watching it, and that is your physical reality in that moment. So going back to inventions, nothing happened without a thought. Oh, this is it. This is why we have to be conscious of our thoughts, because this is what our thoughts create. When I started this YouTube channel, I had to have that initial thought of, oh, I'm going to go onto YouTube and talk on YouTube. Now that thought was, bless them, sent by my angels and my guides from the collective consciousness. That is how that thought came into my mind, and I was guided to do it. Okay, a lot of our thoughts that we have in the moment can come from the collective consciousness, can come from our angels and guides, because we are being guided to do what is for our highest good. We were not brought down here to suffer. Remember that? We were brought down here to consciously co-create, have fun, and make the life that we want. Unfortunately, because of the way we have grown up, because of our conditioning, because of the programs that have been put upon us over the years, we have a different outlook on things, and we are not aware of our thoughts and what they can create. But it really is true in what we do. As an example, I have had, since the new moon, well over 250 new subscribers. That, thank you very much, was you subscribing to me. But on that new moon, when it started and when I brought out that manifestation video, part of my manifesting and part of my deliberate thought to bring into reality was to bring in more subscribers to grow my channel, and I wanted to do it at a faster rate than normal, and that has happened. It's only been 2 weeks and I've had that many subscribers. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And it will continue. Now, if I went back a couple of months, I had a wobble, and some of you who have probably been subscribers for quite a while will have noticed the wobble. About 2 months ago, I had a severe wobble where I started to doubt myself and started to doubt whether I could do what I was doing. My subscriber level stayed exactly where it was. It would go up a couple and then down a couple, up 2 or 3 and then down 2 or 3, and it wobbled for weeks like that. And the more I looked at it, the more worried about it became. The more I thought about it, the more worried I became, and I wobbled. And that was my thoughts creating that reality again. So don't do it. Don't do it. So that is a really, really good example of your thoughts creating the reality that happens around you. I firmly believe in the new moon. I firmly believe in manifesting things, and I firmly believe that things come to fruition on the full moon. I absolutely firmly believe that because we've got a blue moon this month, things are manifesting double quick, and that is exactly what is happening. So I am firmly in that belief, and I continue to manifest that, and I'm happy to do that. I'm also very thankful to everyone who's subscribed, and to my to the collective consciousness as well, and my firm belief in that collective consciousness, because what I have thought has gone up to the universe and it has been reflected down. So that's probably a perfect example of what's been happening. If you wanted to be a marathon runner or going to the next Olympics, you would have to start running. You would know that you would have to run every day. You know that every day that you would have to increase that run by so much in order to get fitter, in order to get up to the standard that you would need to be in that Olympics, or to be in that 10-kilometre run, or whatever it is that you wanted to be in that race. So in order to do that, you do have to take the action. Once you've had the thought, you can't then just sit back and say, right, I've had this thought, yeah, it's going to happen. We do have to put the action behind the thought and then start to work towards getting it to manifest in the way we want it to. So as a marathon runner, you'd have to run more every day. We know that if we wanted to get fitter and get healthier, if we were to sit on our bottoms all day and eat chocolate, that would not manifest us getting fitter and healthier. That would just manifest us getting fatter. So we have to, once we've had that thought, we have to put the actions behind it as well. So that is the first universal law, which is mentalism, the law of mentalism. So hopefully that just, it is very much like the crown chakra that I've just done, because that is what's connected. That's what it's all about. The second universal law I'm going to do is the law of polarity, which is another immutable law, which is another law which cannot be changed, which is the law by which we all live in, and we all live by. So I'm going to go through that, but hopefully, because I've gone into it in more detail, once I've got these laws out, we put them all together, and that is what we do on a daily basis. When I talk about manifestation and I talk about seeing it, hearing it, feeling it, touching it, tasting it, it's sort of bringing all these laws into one package, and that's what does it. It's not just the thought, it's the action we put together behind it, it's the excitement, it's the passion, it's the feeling we put. So they all come together, but I haven't ever explained all the 7 universal laws before, so I thought it would be a good idea to do that and go through them. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. thank you very much, and I will speak to you soon. Enjoy.